Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay. Shalom, Biggie. Hello, Jay.
Hey, guys.
How are you, my friend?
Quite well.
Doing all right?
Yeah.
You haven't caught anything from Easus yet?
I don't think so, man.
I don't think I have either. But he obviously gave Peanut something.
Oh.
You know,
Peanut was sick before I was sick.
Are you
So
sure?
maybe, yes.
Okay, settle down,
Yes.
Poops. I'm just checking.
I'm just saying, Peanut was sick before I was sick.
Okay, and then you got Troy sick then. Nice job, Easy.
Well, I think Peanut got Troy sick and Troy got me sick.
Is it possible to get sick from a dog?
I think so, man. I think
Really?
I've heard that. Yeah, I think I've heard that cats and dogs we can exchange colds and things.
No kidding. That's fascinating. If you're like, God damn it, Peanut, you got the flu, now I have it.
Yeah.
Now, by the way,
It's hilarious.
I don't know about the flu, but
I only even suggested that Peanut gave Troy the flu because you did on Sunday when
Well,
you said,
I didn't know. I threw that out there as a possibility. I thought it was a joke, but now I find out it's absolutely possible. That's amazing.
absolutely. I think it might be.
That's good enough for
No,
me.
it's absolutely.
Absolutely positive. My dog got us sick. Ugh, it's terrible. Poor little Pains nut. Oh, Peanut. So you're feeling better, E, but you're not. This is gonna be. I just hate to deliver shit news right out of the gate, but E's taking a knee on his day in history.
Oh, Jesus.
I
The
know.
listeners look forward to this.
They sure do.
It wasn't going to happen this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was too sick.
I was, dude.
What did you do when you left here? I mean, obviously
Slept.
you slept till
and
you
slept
got
until
here.
right when I got here, dude.
So there was no chance you could do it then, as much as you wanted to help people learn something
Dude,
new.
you know what?
It's all right.
I tried I actually did try to look at my laptop today about 11, and I start scrolling down the list of things that had happened, dude. And I just even
What were you gonna pick?
I don't even know, dude. But
Nothing inspired you, though.
no, it's not that. Sitting up just for that little bit still, my head was just freaking in a haze still, dude. That's what it was. That's what it
Yeah.
all came down to.
Well, I'm just wondering what some of the options were that we're
I
missing
don't even
out on.
remember now that
Yeah.
I think about it.
Okay, well done.
A lot of
Said you
World War
woke up-
II crap. I
Oh, I
remember
was
that.
dying to learn something cool about World War II today.
Dude, in 1590, the Sultan of Morocco launches a
Fuck outta here.
successful attack to capture Timbuktu.
Get out of
Come on,
dude.
Isis. Jeez.
Mike would
that
have
sounds
hated if I
awesome.
opened up with in 1592.
Well, once you got to Timbuktu, I would have been all in.
1644, the Ming Chongzhen emperor commits
Yeah.
suicide by hanging himself.
I
Hung
saw
himself.
That.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it auto asphyxiation?
It doesn't
Autoerotic
say.
asphyxiation?
I'd have to dig into the Wikipedia page.
See, I'm more impressed with the Chinese that sword themselves in the stomach and stuff.
Yeah, the harikari.
Yeah, I like those guys the best, you know. I mean, that's an honorable way to go. I disappoint my country and my people.
Isis, 1956, Elvis Presley, The King. Heartbreak Hotel goes to #1 on the
And if
charts.
I don't know if I even. Yeah, I guess
Pretty
that's
big news, E.
I guess.
Pretty
But
big. Can you sing us a bar?
If
from
I
it?
don't even know
find
the
or
song.
hear the individual that has said that about me, I will pull your goddamn tongue out with the roots.
Isis,
you very much.
1960, the first submerged circumnavigation of the Earth is completed by a Triton submarine.
that was the closest I was excited about.
I
remember
would
that. But I
Kill to
wasn't
know
even,
more about that.
But it wasn't even that I wasn't excited about things. Like I said, I sat up and I just started looking at stuff, and my head just was in a cloud. man.
1971.
What?
The establishment of the country of Bangladesh.
Get out of here. Are you
would've done
kidding
that.
me?
We'll never know more about it, though. Right?
Bangladesh
Yeah,
would have been
none of you got the
sweet. I don't even
internet.
know where Bangladesh is. Now I'm
19
never going to know.
1980, President Jimmy Carter tells the American people about the hostage rescue disaster in Iran.
Oh,
Would've
yeah.
been terrible to
That's
say.
awesome, man. I'm big fan of the Iran hostage. Was that around the Olympics? Was that the Contras?
Well, if it happened today, do you think it would be around the Olympics?
Well, I don't know, E.
I mean,
I
we're
wish someone
sitting
could
here
have informed me today. I'd
We're
love
sitting
to
here
know
in
more.
April. If something was happening in April,
You're
what
thinking of the
Olympics would-
Munich Olympics where
Maybe.
the Israeli
Yeah.
hostages got taken and killed?
And killed, yeah. I'm confused, but if I didn't learn anything about the Iran thing with Carter. It sounds fascinating, but, just I guess teacher took the day off.
We'll never know.
People can get sick, Mike. The teacher can get sick.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, big news today. Joe Biden jumps in the race.
What a surprise.
for
Creepy Joe
2020.
Biden.
Hell yeah. Does he have a chance?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, what are there, 20-some candidates on the Dem side? So,
yeah.
I mean, crazy shit happens, right? And he's got huge name recognition. He probably, even without being in it the last few weeks, has been right there in top 2
Yeah.
or 3, right?
Well, it's over. I don't know why they're continuing. Right as of right now, if the election were held, he would beat Trump by 8 points, they said. So that's like a new political poll or something, which is like, why are we even having the race? I mean, he's not going to make up 8 points now.
He's got 50 different gaffes in him between now and then.
Right.
It's going to be fun, man.
And I've written a few of those down to go over. I thought, I know I've seen Democrats on TV and they're just praising the YouTube video he put out to announce his candidacy. And I thought it was fucking terrible, to be honest with you. I really did. Just dark, gloomy. We're in the battle for the soul of our country.
Yeah.
Fuck off, dude. Really? Drama queen? Are we in the battle for our soul? If Trump gets another 4 years, we may never recover from the... Okay, dude. So, yeah, we're apparently in the battle for the soul of our nation. I had no idea. I didn't even know we'd started the battle.
Some of us thought about that if Hillary had won.
Yeah, in 2008.
Right.
I guess the battle rages on, right?
Yeah. Trump, of course, let this thing land for about 30 seconds before taking to Twitter.
Yeah, that's a good tweet. I like this.
Welcome to the race, Sleepy Joe. He's got a new name.
A new nickname.
Is there a reason for Sleepy Joe? Did he fall asleep at a fucking meeting or something?
No, he's just trying to set the stage, right? He's just trying to brand the dude.
I mean, we all remember what happened to Biden or Jab.
Jab! Exclamation.
Low energy.
I only hope you have the intelligence long in doubt. Is this proper? I only hope you have the intelligence, comma, long in doubt, comma.
Yeah.
That's proper, right?
I didn't like his first sentence, though. It was missing a comma. Comma. Read his first sentence.
I know. He needed a comma after race. Welcome to the race, Sleepy Joe.
Yep. Comma, Sleepy Joe.
Could he dot that?
No,
I
you're not
might
gonna
have
ellipsis
dotted
there.
that. I love the dot. Oh, not 4, not 2, dot. Always. It's a win when I don't know if I.
When an
I do
ellipsis
throw
is,
that in when I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, when I
don't know what I'm doing most of the time. So.
When I'm concerned about a possible run-on sentence, or I don't know if I need if I get hit with a colon or semicolon, forget it. It's over. Do I do 2 spaces after a colon?
look,
It's a social
so
media thing,
confusing.
though, dude.
the ellipsis,
dot is a social media
the ellipsis
thing.
is great.
Yeah.
In just slang kind of talk, just
Hell yeah.
loose talk, loose emails, whatever. I use it a ton too.
Okay,
just kind of
good.
like, here's the end of my thought. I'm moving on to another one, or we're kind of connected.
Yeah.
And it's just a loose way of talking. Where you see it most in prose is when prose.
Yeah, of
When
course.
you see it most is when you're taking a quote and you're taking information out of the quote and you're shortening the quote.
Yes.
That's usually where you see it.
That's where I usually
So you
find
asked me,
ellipsi.
you asked me if it would be proper right there, where you'd go, "Welcome to the race." Dot. Sleepy
It's
Joe.
suspense, though. I'm suspense. People are like,
Yeah.
what dot? Where is this going? Dot again.
I think you
Where
use
is
the-
this going?
Use
Dot.
the traditional comma and be done with it.
Yeah. Okay.
But he missed that,
He did miss that.
which
He-
humanizes him.
Absolutely. He's not perfect. He's not a
I
perfect
thought he
individual.
was.
Yeah.
I thought President Trump was perfect, but
I
now
did
that
too.
proves he's not, and so it humanizes him a little bit.
He quickly made up for it though by capitalizing Sleepy and Joe.
Yeah.
So
Proper
he's saying
name.
he's giving him a proper name. It's not like Sleep, because you could have done if he does.
Not just a simple adjective. You're
Yeah.
Sleepy Joe. No, it's Sleepy Joe.
This is his name. Crooked Hillary.
kind of plays off Sloppy Joe. Everybody has that. Everybody knows
Yeah.
Sloppy Joe's the food. Sleepy Joe.
Sloppy Joe. Now that you mention it, might have worked too because he's the gaffes. You could say, dude, you're sloppy.
Could, but yeah, sloppy. I think most people think of like physically, right?
Yeah.
And he's definitely not sloppy.
Sure.
He's the well-primped politician, no question about it. Every hair in
Well,
place.
look, he's been serving this country, just doing God's work. For
Knows
the
when to
country.
roll up those sleeves
Absolutely.
and do the work for the American people.
I mean, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years now, he's been just rolling up his sleeve and doing the important work of the American citizen.
Has he had?
He's served his people well.
and somehow his family is multi-millionaires, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'd have to
Several of them.
I'd have to look into it because you guys know
Not
way
Bo,
more about it
but-
than I do. But like, has he had a real job? Like,
He's
after,
probably some
like
shit
after the
lawyer
Air Force?
before that.
Okay.
Probably.
Well, it's funny you say that because the amount of people who are taken to task for shit they supported 30 years ago. I mean, the guy's been as a senator for what 60 years, and so he's been in that world where times have changed. Shit that you stood on and preached that's all on camera. Now you have to defend. Where it's
yeah,
like,
he has a record.
I mean, his Anita Hill shit with Clarence
Right.
Thomas having an all-male panel attack this black female, blah, blah, blah. And he's apologizing for it now, but he was quite the dickhead back then. And the other ones that he's going to have a hard time explaining, because they went after Kamala Harris for this. When she was she a prosecutor or something. And she was going really hard after
Criminals.
Right.
I
It's
know.
like, you
She-
locked him up and threw away the key. What?
I know,
Why?
she has to water that down. That's like that's a huge negative on her
I know.
candidacy is that she was a prosecutor.
Yeah. Too hard on people, too.
Oh, my
Minorities in
God.
particular.
Sure.
She was hard on people that committed crimes and were caught, is what she was. So, anyways, so back to Trump real quick. Welcome to the race, Sleepy Joe. I only hope you have the intelligence, long in doubt, to wage a successful primary campaign. It would be nasty. Hyphen. You will be dealing with people who truly have some very sick and demented ideas. But if you make it, I will see you at the starting gate. That is a good tweet.
It
kind
is
of
a very good- yeah.
needling a bit, but not being over the
It's
top.
like, let's go, man.
Yeah, I wanted to play a little bit. There was a couple things in his video that I took serious issue with, and one of them is,
The tightness
Thickness of his face.
Well,
how there's
there's
just
that.
like half his face is tight.
well, abhorrent, right? You know how to say abhorrent.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Biden knows how to say
Say
abhorrent.
Aberrant.
Aberrant. Not even abhorrent. It's abhorrent, right? His behavior is abhorrent. You don't say aberrant, do you?
I might now. I might
too.
now. Yeah.
It jumped out at me, and I was like, his message is lost. He just said aberrant, and I don't know
Yeah.
anyone that says
Tomato,
that.
tomato, Mike.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, see if it passes and you pick up any of his message after that. So, E, do you have the video there?
Before I just start rolling that around in my mind, like, God,
Aberrant. Is it
Aberrant.
aberrant? Abhorrent? Abhorrent. All right.
America is an idea, Mike.
Charlottesville, Virginia is home to the author of one of
This
the
is
great
tight. It's
documents in
tight.
human history. We know it by heart.
Yeah, do
We
ya?
hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal,
Squid, just the
endowed
right,
by their
just the
creator
right
with
voice.
certain inalienable rights. We've heard it so often, it's almost a cliche, but it's who we are. We haven't always lived up to these ideals. Jefferson himself didn't, but we have never before walked away from them. Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment for this nation in the last few years. It was there on August of 2017 we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open. Their crazed faces, illuminated by torches, veins bulging and bearing the fangs of racism. Chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. And they were met by a courageous group of Americans. And
Oh,
a
you mean
violent
Antifa?
clash ensued.
Antifa!
And a brave young woman lost her life. And that's when we heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world
Stunned.
and shocked the conscience of this
Absolutely.
nation. He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides.
Of the statue issue.
Very
Yeah.
fine people on both sides.
Of the statue issue.
Of the statue issue.
Those words,
Robert E. Lee.
the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between those spreading
Do you have that
hate
full quote in
and those
context?
with the courage to stand
I
against
know
it.
most of it. Yeah, you can pull it
And in
up.
that moment,
Pathetic.
I knew the threat to this nation
I knew it.
was unlike
What are you gonna
any
do,
I'd
Joe? We
ever
need
seen
help.
in my lifetime. I wrote at the time that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation.
Yes.
Well, that's even more true today. We
Yeah.
are in the battle for the soul
I think
of
it's
this
coming
nation.
up
I
aberrant.
believe history will look back on 4 years of this president
Okay.
and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time. But if we give Donald
aberrant,
Trump 8 years in the White House,
What happens
he
then?
will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation.
Oh, no.
Who we are.
Oh,
And
no.
I cannot stand by and watch that
No,
happen.
we need a hero.
The core
We
values
need a
of
hero
this
more
nation
now than ever.
are standing in
We
the
need
world.
a hero.
Our very democracy.
Our very
Everything
democracy
that made
depends on this.
America is at stake.
Yeah.
That's why today I'm announcing my
thank
candidacy
God.
for president of the
Oh,
United
thank
States.
God, Joseph.
I didn't know where he was going with this whole
Folks,
thing, but
America-
Oh, I
wow,
didn't
what good
either.
news.
Holy shit! I thought he was just gonna like give a speech about how we suck. We're doomed. Thank God it was like, I know. Let me pull my shirt open and reveal the S and the cape, because Joe Biden's jumping into the mix. You know what the other thing is? I don't mean to put anyone on the spot, but if you wouldn't mind, do me a solid and bing Joe Biden's full name. I think there's such an issue with his middle name that I don't think you could vote for him. I can't remember offhand what it is, but maybe if you wiki or something, his Joe Biden's full name, it's an R word. It's not Roger or Rick. It's aberrant, to be honest with you. The middle name, it's that bothersome. Yeah. So what he just did there is what these politicians like to do. Did the words "very fine people on either side" come out tumbling out of Trump's mouth?
They did.
They did. So that's all I needed to hear, man.
It's like
all I needed to hear.
Mexicans, rapists,
Yeah.
thieves, etc. came out of his mouth as well, and that's
Yeah.
all you hear when you hear about immigration, right?
I mean, if Trump, to put it in context, if Trump went, "I hate Negroes," is something you would never hear come out of my mouth, and I do not tolerate that sort of behavior towards other people. Like,
Clip
they would
it down.
Clip it. I hate Negroes. Remember that aberrant time in our history when Trump said he hated Negroes? Plaster. It's like, yeah, you kind of didn't. And what you were saying, to your point, Jay, if people don't remember, you kept going, yeah, the statues.
Statue issue.
That's what Trump was talking about, and it's very clear. Do you have the full quote in context?
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had
All I needed to hear.
You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
Yeah. That's what he was talking about. So I know this is a talking point that is thrown around, and I'm sure there's Republican ones too. And I got pissed at Sarah Sanders the other day for taking someone, stop it, when it was like, we need to lop off the heads of, whatever, these people that are blah, blah. It's like, I've never been threatened with being beheaded. I was like, stop it. It's a fucking...
Speaking of her, dude, how do you like her backpedaling on the, I heard from countless FBI agents how glad they were that Comey was fired. You hear that
No, I
statement?
didn't
Oh,
hear
this
that
is
one.
something that came out of the Mueller report. That
Okay.
They actually asked her, she said that from the podium. Since Mueller's been fired, I've heard from countless the rank and file FBI agents
Yeah.
who are glad that he's gone. And so the Mueller people question her about that. Who'd you hear that from? And she's like, I didn't really hear from anybody.
Forget.
Maybe one guy emailed me.
I thought it was
and
the
so
whole...
she's confronted with that, and she's fucking dancing about it. It's
Yeah.
like, just admit it, man.
Yeah, I
You
went to the podium. I
exaggerated, you
talked
lied.
shit. I talked shit because I thought it would help my side, my team, and that's all I care about. I want you to look to your left, I think, and just be careful. You're about to see something very disturbing. And
Oh, look at his middle name. Look at his middle name.
yeah, I know. I told you.
Joseph Robinet. Joseph Robinet Biden Jr.
Yeah, that's a junior.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look at that son of a
Robinet.
bitch. Do we need a 76-year-old? I don't know, man.
No.
With all this talk of intersectionality and everything, is this really what will come out of the Democratic
It's
nomination?
hilarious, dude, to me, because they've, the left, whatever, the right has their issues, the left, I get sick of the identity politics. They've been accused of it forever. And it's true, they're like, oh, blacks feel this way, and fucking da-da-da, if you're an old white guy, blah, blah. And it's like, I feel like you've got this party that is just preaching over and over about inclusion and getting involved. The two people leading the fucking charge for your party right now are a 76-year-old guy with a middle name of Robinet and a 77-year-old man, white, by the way, both of them, who wants to fucking just give shit to everybody.
Gentlemen, this is shaping up
Hilarious.
to a shitty-ass choice again.
Yeah.
A shitty-ass binary choice that we're always left with at the ends of these things. This is the best we can do as a country. These are the best. This is the best collection of people. A lifetime politician, Joseph Robinet Biden Jr.
Both of them. I know, isn't that classic? And we've heard, I mean, dude, you can say in public right now, like, hasn't the old white man done enough to damage this country? Haven't they done enough? And yet the two people leading the charge
what's crazy,
by
right?
a landslide in the Democratic Party are two of the most ancient. Do you know what the average life expectancy is in the United States of America? 78. Biden is 76 and Sanders is 77.
Yeah, but they're both multimillionaires who can afford only the greatest care.
And if they really believed what they're saying about inclusion and blah, 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 blah,
Well,
all
that's
that
the
shit.
thing, man.
If that's it, isn't it better for you to take one for the team, take a knee? I mean, what we all agree in this room, I think, I don't want to speak for anybody, but a woman at least, or a black, or a gay, a lesbian, a trans, obviously would be ideal to run the country. I mean, that
Well, just based on those factors,
Well, yeah,
those
yeah.
characters,
No.
you don't have to tell me about the person at all or what they believe, their
What does that
policies.
matter?
I just need to know that there's a tranny in charge.
Dude, Jay, he's trans. Like, how is that not the greatest thing for the
Progressive as hell. Get it in there.
It is. It is. You know.
No, it's just ironic as hell. You're right. You've got these. I think is Beto in third or is Buttigieg in third?
Beto is
right,
fucked.
Right.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
no one cares about his
Beto.
skateboard anymore
Yeah.
or anything.
No, but you've got this collection of white dudes, two of them quite old at the top.
Yeah.
And it flies in the
fucking
face of this
hilarious.
intersectionality and this need for everybody to be woke and progressive. It's pretty ironic.
And I just feel like, you know what? You've already served for multiple decades upon decades. You've done your service, sir. You've served your time.
Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
Robinette.
Go sit on an island, man.
Dude,
you deserve
seriously,
it.
you've done enough for the people. You've
You've
served
sniffed
well.
heads.
You have. You've groped toddlers to grannies. You know, he's an equal offender. I wonder how much comes up about his, because he's run for president, what, 12 times now? He gotten his ass handed. He didn't get more than 1%.
Is that right?
1%
Yeah.
until Obama took him off the trash heap
Yeah.
and let him tag along.
No, he's the perfect Veep, isn't he, though?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
Uncle Joe, nice guy.
Yeah, bumbling Uncle Joe. Well, what are you going to do? Robinette. Has anyone seen Robinette around? I want to call him Robinette now going forward. But how is he going to answer for some of the legislation that he put forward? That was the 94 Decriminalization Act, the whole bitch about, like, black people getting fucked, crack cocaine versus powder cocaine,
Yeah.
same makeup. 100-to-1 was the disparity in sentences.
I think
So you got charged 100-fold
Yeah.
for crack.
I think what he and his people must have figured out is that these woke bays that you're hearing chirp on Twitter all day long, they're not the real base. They're not the people who are
Yeah.
going to fund campaigns, and they're not the people who I'm going to have to count on to vote for me.
Right.
It's just an illusion to some extent. That
It's
must be
very
what they
much so.
Right? They must be thinking,
Yes.
here's my lane. Right? Be
Yep.
a bit more moderate and appeal to those people who are just a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just voting for someone because of intersectional issues.
Well, I don't know how he explains away, like, hey, I'm a woke bay now, you know, because his party has gone way more progressive, inclusive, left than he was a moderate most of his career. You
Well,
know,
he's got a tightrope to walk. You know, he
For
can't
sure.
just ignore that.
How do
and
you-
not seem like
See,
a
he won't
woke
have.
guy.
He doesn't even
people-
have to worry about ignoring that because all his other people will do the faux outrage and the Twitter that Jay's talking about. The people that
Yep.
won't really fund it, but the real people that will pay, they won't even pay attention to all this shit that's a little more moderate. They'll just get the Twitter people and go, "Yep, this is better than Trump." And, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Jay? Like,
yeah.
Well, do you think
That-
they'll
that's
think
his
of him?
lane. That's his lane, I think. It's
That's my
just that,
point.
rich people who aren't that woke bay crowd.
And he doesn't have
Yeah.
to worry about those because those people will just vote anyway. The
Well,
ones that
I'll-
are going to vote will.
I'll ask you guys what you think he's known for most. Do you think voters are going to see him as the guy that literally fucking put the bill together, the Violent Crime and Law Enforcement Act, mandatory minimum sentencing was his deal, literally incarcerated more black people than anything else done on planet Earth, and that's his big fucking claim to fame? Or is he just the down home, good golly, Miss Molly, I'm old Joe Robinette Biden from Scranton, Pennsylvania, just rolling up my sleeves. I'm a Midwestern boy. That's all I am, just working, doing my thing for the country. I didn't even know that. I don't give a shit what he thinks
Yeah,
he's
he's-
going to get this Midwestern base because he's one of the people. Fine.
He's not a super deft, articulate politician, so he's going to have some trouble. He's going to step in it quite a few times, but we're used to that with him.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of his lovable nature, right? But he can't step in it so hard policy-wise that people just turn on him.
Yeah.
Because that's going to take some nuance. What you just mentioned, that whole crime
sure.
bill and everything. He's going to have to
Yeah.
get himself out of this.
I mean,
and there's a way to
seeing-
do it.
The way they attacked a black female in Kamala Harris, they're like, no, you don't just get off and get to walk in now like, yeah, I didn't fuck all these
Yeah.
people. If they're going, a
say-
76-year-old white man doesn't have a chance. Of
You
course
say
he's gonna hammer that.
they though, and I think it's important to think about who they
Yeah,
is.
that's
You know,
true.
it's because there's 20 of them, and those people attacking Kamala could just be Biden people, Bernie Bros, that are just
Yeah,
turning on her and hitting her with that because she's exposed to it and making her deal with that.
But I totally agree with what you're saying.
But in the end, if she's the nominee, they're totally behind her. And
Oh,
vote for her, no
of
problem.
course. That goes without saying. But the Twitter Twitter people, because I couldn't agree more. I think it's a very small representation of what really is going on out there. But it gets picked up by the mainstream media. It's salacious enough, and it just
Yeah, but see, I look at the mainstream media too as just arms of these various nominees in a way. So,
Yeah.
so whoever we see getting whacked hardest, we've probably can determine that the mainstream media and the big donors have determined that they're the ones that need to go.
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to slim it down, and the ones that aren't getting hit so hard and are kind of able to be unscathed in those big reports, those big headlines,
Sure.
are the ones, the anointed ones, right?
And I want to be clear. I think it's bullshit to go after someone for policies done 35 years ago in what was a different landscape entirely. I just don't think that's fair. You know,
I
'cause-
disagree.
Well, his argument about the 100-to-1 deal with crack versus powder cocaine, it's pegged now, probably rightly in some ways, as, oh yeah, so the white fucking bros on Wall Street can walk around with coke on their person all day long, but the black inner city guy selling dime bags on the corner, throw him away for life. You know, that's unfair. And if you listen to Biden's excuse for that, you know, Joe Robinet, he would say, look, this country was out of nowhere. There was an absolute epidemic of crack cocaine in the inner cities bleeding out. We had to do something to discourage it. Like, we were put in a spot where it's like, looking back on it, it wasn't right. It wasn't right to do that. But it's easier to look back at the time, look back at what decisions
yeah.
were made and point fingers.
I agree with that.
That's why I don't think that's totally fair to just be like, how do you
sure.
answer this? It's like, dude,
Yeah, the
35 years
context
ago-
matters. The question is he deft enough to navigate that conversation?
don't know.
See, man.
The
It'll
other
be
one
fun.
that people don't talk about, because people want to go to the feel-good story and go, oh man, his poor wife was in that car accident, and his daughter died, and his wife died, and Hunter and Bo lived, and and then Bo dies of brain cancer a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years, whatever it was, and that's why he wasn't able to run last time, you know. And
Didn't he promise his kid on his deathbed though that he would run?
his old man, Bo said, promise me you'll do one thing for me in my honor and run for president. The country needs you.
When did that happen,
And
though?
he blew him off.
But what-
He said, yeah, whatever, kid. Kid dies, didn't honor his wish.
Did he promise what year? Come on, man.
I think it
Here he
was
is.
He's
making good.
2016.
He's making good.
The reason I asked that, well, he's ran in
1988.
1984, 88, and 2008. By the way, when you talk about his age, you guys, and you say like this man, how many, dude? I was born in 1984, so that means that this, and I'm 35 years old. That means that this dude, his
been
first
running.
run at the presidency,
Yeah.
was when I was fucking 4 months old,
Isn't that
dude.
unreal?
Yeah.
That's
4
what the
years old
framers intended,
or
right?
seventh or
the,
ish, I
The
mean.
framers intended for there to be political
yeah.
actors who just lifetimes of various voters
Well,
just
who-
stacked on top of each
Right.
other. They're
Well,
serving our country during
You got to
that time.
keep trying, though.
Yeah.
Jay. Isn't it? Who's the famous president, Lincoln or something, that took like 400 times to pass the bar? But he never gave up, Jay. He
Never heard
kept
that.
working hard. I think it was Lincoln. Derek's giving me a thumbs up from the other room. Yeah, I mean, so he didn't give up, and you saw where he got, you know?
Yeah.
So, Biden's got to
Fourscore in
keep.
7 years.
Yeah, he's got to keep going. I mean, shit. I laugh at Hillary. It's like, how many times are you going to run, sweetheart? The country has sent a message, and here, Joe Robinet Biden is like, he just keeps on running. I think he's been in the Senate since '72.
Oh, Robin.
And the other one, dude, when you talk about Hunter, was Hunter the one kicked out of the military for doing blow?
I think Hunter's rich as fuck right now. That's
Oh.
where that's how Robinet's been funneling his money,
Yeah.
laundering his money into Hunter's accounts, right?
And I understand completely. I'm not trying to pick on Joe Robinet or anything like that. But these guys, if you think they're not playing the game, we all know it. It's another example, and I think they all do it. So it's not just Joe Robinet. But for him to take Air Force Two to China for a big meeting with President Xi, and let his son tag along and have these big meetings with the Bank of China, state-owned Bank of China, and then days later, this noob on the financial scene, he started his own firm with who was it? You know, just brought someone up by the bootstraps. Oh yeah, it was John Kerry's son.
Yeah.
So John Kerry's son and Robinet, his kid, have this thing, and all of a sudden, the largest ever investment with a foreign entity or something, I can't remember all the details, but $1 billion into this tiny little fucking fund, you know, days after Kerry meets with Xi, blah blah blah, and people are like, what the hell is
is
that
right.
about, dude?
Is right.
So what? I mean, that is not a normal scenario. Why, you would go with the largest investment fund in America if you're going to drop that kind of dope, cash into it. Not one by Joe Biden's kid and John Kerry's fucking kid. That's sick, dude.
Listed as Hunter Biden's profession, lawyer/lobbyist.
Which was that, Hunter?
Hunter.
Isn't he the one that was blown out of the Navy or something for blow?
I don't
could have
know about that.
sworn
I don't
it
know,
was.
dude. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
see if you can find that, E. I'm almost positive.
Hey everybody, NBA and NHL playoffs are of course in full swing, so stop on by the Hamlin Pub to watch your favorite team on one of their numerous TVs and enjoy sports specials like the $7 medium hand-tossed pizzas, boneless wings, or the Nacho Supreme. Of course, these specials are good at all 5 Hamlin Pub's locations, those being Clarkston, Chesterfield, Rochester, and the 2 in Shelby Township.
I don't know if you watched this, Jay. I don't think you did, but I know you read about it. I watched finally last night the
Real sports.
Real Sports. Yeah, Bryant Gumbel on HBO. And their kickoff piece was about the Illiches and Detroit and LCA, the new arena. It's tough to watch when you put, it's not like a lot of this is breaking news. We knew about a lot of this shit, going on. But when you look at them all together, oof, it paints a really damning picture.
Well, give us some context here, Mike. You're talking about the failure to abide by promises concerning bolstering the city around the arenas, right?
And so you got to go back to a time when Detroit was either coming out of the bankruptcy. It was not in good shape. Blight everywhere. And the Illiches have wanted this new stadium downtown. And the thought is how you sell that to people is always, the same. It's going to create jobs galore. People are going to move into the city and we'll have an entertainment district. And it sounds awesome. But it's trickle down economics. It just doesn't work. They've done research on this about stadiums and what's promised around them. And it just doesn't.
Trickle down economics doesn't work, Mike?
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's like the Illich.
Are you really saying that?
Well,
That's
I'm
a
saying
different conversation.
Well, no, the trickle down money made at the top is going to trickle down to the community and fix the schools and the
I
blight.
understand.
Yeah, not trickle down economics. You know what I meant, though. And so that isn't happening at all. And then I never like this when it's like here you've got the king of an empire. He owns 2 professional sports teams, and this pizza giant worth $7 billion. It's like, man, can't you fucking pay for your own goddamn stadium? What do you need? You're gonna hit the fucking citizens of Detroit who are.
But at the same time, if the money's there and they're willing to get, you know what I mean? It's sort of like people look at people who don't pay huge amounts of taxes, and it's like, well, I'm just following their shitty tax code. I found some quote unquote loopholes that
For sure.
Renders me taxless.
Yeah.
Right? It's unbelievable.
We
know.
would look at someone that paid more, and you'd be like, "You idiot!
Yeah.
Why didn't you fucking
So-
the loopholes could have saved you a boatload of money."
On the one hand, I totally get it, and I'm not totally sure how I feel about this whole issue. But
I'll tell you how you
I
feel.
totally get what you're saying. Like, you've got a billionaire. Why don't you just fund the whole thing? But at the same time, he's operating in a game.
Yeah.
And the rules of the game's like, make them work for you.
But
as long as you're being honest about it,
they
right?
change the rules as we go, and so this, what was it, $640 million for this new stadium? And Charlie LaDuff has been on this forever. He sat down with me one day and pulled out like all the records about the money and what's going on. He's like, dude, this mathematically makes fuck all for sense. It just doesn't work. If you run the numbers, you would need 1,000 new jobs yesterday, paying $100,000 each. Where the fuck is that going? These are part-time jobs at LCA, but seasonal. There's not a lot of corporate jobs in there that providing huge salaries. And when you're looking at it overall, he's like, I just don't. We're going to be bankrupt again in no time. Period. He's like, we have to pay $20 million a fucking month in taxes and shit, or to pay down what we owe for the state. Just financially, it makes no sense. And so,
And there's always, I hate that there's always this sense of like the public's being taken hostage a bit, because you always feel like, we got to do the bidding of these owners because they could leave with our beloved teams.
True.
Right?
Very
and,
true.
And Illich, a guy like that, a family like that, it doesn't seem plausible that they actually pull up stakes and do that.
Yeah.
But in other cities, that is absolutely a fear.
Yeah.
Where there's just more of a transient guy, and you're like, fuck, man. I mean, we love our NFL team here.
Yeah.
They could pull up stakes and just leave if we don't agree to this.
yeah.
And so they have tremendous power because sports is so important to our culture.
And
right?
it is. You would hate to lose one of the 4 major sports teams. Dude, we don't have much here. Fucking get out of here. build your own damn team. I mean, it was trending yesterday on Twitter because one of the analysts on ESPN or something, they're like, so what do you think's next for the Pistons going forward? He's like, they should move to Seattle.
Yeah.
It was like, what? Get in here. No.
Oh, there's a good example, right? Goris, where he's a guy he's from here originally, Flint or whatever, but he's got LA ties, strong LA ties.
Yep.
And you do sort of in the back of your mind go, is he going to be here in 10 years? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, going back to the Illiches, a lot of the things, like they had earmarked money, and it was a few $100 million to be set aside and built up over years, and it was to go and put money into the Detroit schools, and they had a lot of video of the inner city schools. And it's embarrassing that as a community we let that happen, where you got kids, they got black mold on the walls, water, they just turn on the water, just orange.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's easy to look away because it's not happening in your schools. You don't have to put up with it. It's kind of easy to just go, la, 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 I didn't see it. I didn't do it. It's a disaster. And so that money was earmarked for that. And they were like, yeah, let's un-earmark that money and shift gears, and we'll take that money and use it to pay for the stadium.
Rob Peter to pay Paul.
We're going to pay that back, though. And they've got 30 years to do that. They think that in 30 years they can pay that back. And that's fuck off, man. And, here's a guy who's in Forbes magazine every month as one of the wealthiest in the world. You see stuff like that, and you're taking advantage. When they showed the posters of the plans, and everyone's clapping for themselves about, oh, this is the district of, what do they call it?
District Detroit.
District Detroit. It's got all this rundown shit, blighted, and it's like, this is going to be new restaurants and blah, 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 leading to the fucking gorgeous new stadium. And they're like, how many houses, residential, anything has been built since this project ended years ago? And, fucking zero.
Yeah.
None. And hearing like, it was a game. It was a game to the Illiches. They're playing the system, but they owned all that property.
Yeah.
They bought all the fucking property, and then they said, they just let it get more dilapidated. And then it's like, yep, we're driving down the prices of real estate in Detroit by gobbling up all this property, let it get worse. And so the blight is just added to by that decision. And then when they're like, hey, you said you guys were going to do something. You have to do something with this property so we can get people moving. They went, okay. They mowed it all down and just installed 28 parking lots so they can make more money on that. And it's like, this city's been pretty good to the Illiches. I don't know. It just seems wrong.
Yeah, the other side of that, though, is you look and you go, dude, let's rewind to the 80s when the Illiches were the only ones who were willing to put money down there.
Yeah,
redid the
true.
Fox Theater, etc. So they were early in, and so I'm unwilling to totally throw them under the bus.
The other, and I know, dude, I don't know as nearly enough about this as I could know. I'm sure that the Illiches, on some level, are not evil, but they're big business. They work in their own asses.
Capitalists,
right?
let's say
But
that.
but the thing is, though, there is 100%. Like, you can walk now from Midtown Detroit to the river down Woodward, 100%. And that LCA opened up between Midtown and where LCA, like that area between LCA and the Midtown
important corridor.
Yeah.
Nothing was there 5 years ago.
It's linked
8
now.
years.
It's great,
totally
man.
linked.
It is, and that's awesome. It's a lot of fun
At
to go
what
down
price,
there.
though?
Right.
I get it.
And people would point to, you had a city on the brink. They were desperate. Of course they want the hope that a new stadium is going to generate jobs and housing and save this city. But when
But they're not the first ones to make this promise. You could have gone back, and I'm sure there's been studies going back 30 years where people were promising that, and you see what you get. You get a lot of people typically coming from the suburbs to go down, and they spend within a couple blocks, and they park, and then they get the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's not until you have schools and grocery stores and an
Grocery stores,
infrastructure where people can actually live down there, until you have a spot where people are like, you know what, I'm going to grow a family down there, then you really don't have a viable downtown.
That's true, and that's a huge point. Think about it. What grocery store do you go to if you live in Detroit?
Yeah, they probably put that Meijer, but it was like,
no,
dude,
they've got
but
Whole
they acted like
Foods
that was
down
there.
the
Yeah, they do now.
biggest deal on the planet.
right?
You know what I mean? It's like, look what we did. It's like,
serving
you should.
hipsters for 4 blocks. That's
Right,
what it does.
Yeah, right. Trader Joe's, wow, great. You put one of those in. I mean, most metro cities have that shit already. So it is. You should watch it, though, because the stories I read do not really do justice to what they found down there. Yeah, it's a lot more involved and a lot worse than the stories in the Freak today or the Detroit News. You should just borrow someone's HBO Go password. HBO doesn't even give a shit. It's not stealing. You can use anyone. They're cool with that. So just borrow your friend's HBO Go.
I think you changed yours because I tried to sign in the other day.
Yeah, I like to fuck with you guys sometimes. I'll give it to you again.
I still would like to know, like, even
But
with them doing what they're doing, though. Let's say they take that out of there. Then look where would Detroit
Here's
be
the
then?
thing that you're not reading in these stories. If you watch more detail, like Joe Louis Arena and the Illiches had Joe Louis Illich owned, and the city had a deal where they split revenues 50-50. And so there was money always coming in to the city because of that. The Illiches get 100% of the money.
I know, dude,
100% of the parking, 100% of the concessions, 100% of the ticket sales. The city gets fucked.
Yeah, that's
They
shady
get
as fuck.
nothing. That's an investment of $320 million by the citizens of Detroit. They're getting taxed on that. Not people like us living out here outside of city limits. The citizens of Detroit are, and they're getting for that nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
There's plenty of
that's-
blame to go around, though, to be friggin' bamboozled like that. But
Yeah.
you know, who's in charge of the purse strings? That's who. And I know that, like,
Yeah.
dude, you're pointing to just decades of incompetence.
Yeah.
You're talking about city government. That's just a fucking joke. But it's the truth, you know.
Well,
I
there
mean,
there are
again, you've got just on paper, you've got capitalists who want to do the best they can for themselves.
Yeah.
And okay, you know, we've got a product, we can plunk it right down here. What'll you give us?
Yeah.
And the city is, you know,
Can we have this?
mismanaged.
And they went, no. No, you
So
can't have that.
My point is, I'm just not willing to just point the finger completely at the Illiches and go, "You evil
Yeah.
capitalists, you."
And I don't think the Illiches are evil. I think, business decisions are made, but HBO Real Sports is not going to highlight that story unless they really have some shit that doesn't look right or feel right. I'll give them that. They've earned their credibility over the years. Real Sports has. And
I
you know,
always approach documentaries with suspicion. I
Yeah.
always go, "Okay, I'm hearing one side." So that's my only thing.
that's fair, and I won't pretend to know the inner details, but I've talked enough to Charlie, who really does know. I was hearing this shit a long time ago and going, but isn't it cool to get a craft beer, dude? It's like, I love craft beer too, man. It doesn't make financial sense in any
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
None. I've run all the fucking financials. It makes zero sense. We will be bankrupt again. Now, is some of that, does he know everything? I'm not saying that, but he's a hell of a lot more knowledgeable about this shit than us from afar,
Mm-hmm.
And, there's guys here. There are people that are involved that, let's see, Frank Gruno he's a member of the Neighborhood Advisory Council. And he's charged with like figuring out if the Illiches are living up to their promises, if they're holding true to that. And he's like, no, none. They're not. So
How much blame is put on the people who are holding the purse strings in this instance, rather than just heaping it on the Illiches in this documentary?
well, I don't know. I don't
You know
know
what I mean? 'Cause-
how that works, dude. It's a good question, but if it's like, yep, we will do this on our end. You guys provide this, we will do this, and it's like, okay, you've got your beautiful new stadium. We did our part of the deal, and now you're not doing any of your fucking part of the deal.
Yeah.
It's like, hello.
Yeah, why
happened?
aren't there things in there that says, like, if they don't do that,
They
then
would
all
have
of a sudden
just had a meeting and had a fucking lawyer look at something and go, dude, you're gonna get fucked if you're not careful. Have people sign this, all right?
I don't know, man.
It's a fair question. I don't know. It's way more involved than any of us know for sure. But I don't know. You should watch it though, because there's a
I
lot
know.
more. There's a lot more in that story that you might find interesting. Congratulations to Texas. Successfully murdered a man last night.
Oh yeah, that shithead who dragged that poor black man.
Oh my God, dude! It's one of the worst stories I've ever read.
Yeah.
Honestly, James Byrd Jr. is the black man. This is back in '88. John King. I think he goes by Bill. John William King. I think he goes by Bill King. Been in jail. He was the one executed yesterday. There were 3 guys involved in that story, and one other guy was executed back a few years ago. And I'll give you some details on him. It's rather funny. This is where the first guy that was put to death is the reason, him alone, that they changed Texas's law about last meals.
They took him away?
Yeah.
Good.
So
Thank God.
I'll tell you what
It's
he
the
did.
Dumbest goddamn thing ever.
This son of a bitch. And they went, okay, you gonna get cute? Fuck it. You eat your goddamn bread and water,
He
asshole.
got greedy, huh?
No, I'll tell you, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. So, the sisters and aunt, I think, and cousins, some relatives of Mr. Byrd were there to watch. to watch the execution. They said it was very peaceful, unlike what he did to our poor brother. So they basically 3 guys, fucking hillbillies in Texas, in a pickup truck. It's a black guy. One of the guys, the guy driving the car, I think knows him a little bit in passing. Maybe we went to school together at one point. This guy's car's broken down or something. He's walking down the freeway, and they pick him up. And the other 2 are like, "Is he picking up a fucking Negro?" They're pissed. And so that King guy takes the wheel, and they were supposed to drop this guy off at home as he was walking home from work or whatever, and goes down fucking way deep dirt road. And they're like, "What are we doing over here?" And he's like, "I'm gonna scare the shit out of that fucking," And they're like, "Okay." And so they end up chaining this guy to the fucking bumper, and after savagely beating him with a bat, and tie him to the fucking chain him to the bumper, and then drive 3 fucking miles with this guy, dude. And they said he would have.
Twisting and turning.
The autopsy report came back and said he was alive for at least half that. It ripped his arm off, his head. He said his dick and balls were ground down
Sure.
to the.
Can imagine.
Kendall.
The road rash, yeah.
Kendalled him. His body was
Cheese grater. Just take a cheese grater to your nutsack.
Yeah.
Jesus.
His buttocks gone. He was down to the bone in a lot of respects. To think of someone being alive for a mile and a half before he hit like a concrete something on a turn.
His head came
and
off.
and smashed his head, and and then they were just like, "Ugh," just dumped him in a cemetery, headless, armless, in a cemetery, and drove off, leaving a fucking trail of blood. He also had the guy's Bird's wallet is there, and then one of those idiots in the fucking truck left dropped like his something that had his name carved in it and his clan membership card or something.
Come on, man.
And they follow the blood trail. They see these things and like, that was his prison name. He's got his prison nickname carved into his fucking wallet or something. And so they're like, it was not too hard to find what assholes did this. So they hauled him in, and
So only one of them has been killed so far.
Second was last night.
Gotcha.
And the others got life for whatever. He must have rolled on them or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But these fucking pieces of shit never were remorseful for it at all.
Didn't look at the family at the execution, right? Wouldn't even look at
No,
him.
wouldn't even look at him. No. And they said any last words. He said, nope. No, that was it. And he did have a final statement before his execution.
God, you must think it's really worth it, man. Like, no remorse, never a thankful. Like, you think the cause? Like, does he think he's getting rewarded by somebody?
He wanted
for
to start a
this?
race war. He really thought he was going to be able to start a race war. You would think, though,
But it
doing
didn't
30
happen.
years in prison, you would go, wow. You would see enough people.
You'd reflect.
Yes. I was a
Cooling
monster.
off period.
I know I'm going to be executed. There's not much I can do about it, but I just want the family to know how sorry I am. I've learned. He apparently was thrown in jail when he was younger, and he claims he was raped by lots of blacks when he was incarcerated, and that's what stemmed his. I don't give a shit. You got butt fucked. Sorry, dude. That sucks. I don't agree with that at all. Doesn't mean you can chain a fucking black guy to the bumper and drive with kids. Just awful. And so, he was pronounced dead at 7:08 last night. They did the pentobarbital. And he did have a statement, though. It was 9 words long. Capital punishment, : and is that 2 spaces after that or 1?
2.
2. I thought so. I can't tell. It might be 2. I'm not sure. Capital punishment, : them without the capital get the punishment.
Capital punishment. Them without the capital get the punishment. Yeah.
It's making me work, dude. It's like a riddle and a
Them
bad
without
one.
money get the punishment. If he'd have had money, he'd have got out of this.
Why didn't they just say that? It's like the whole, a bird, 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Like, fuck, dude.
Two stones, 1 bird.
Yeah.
Ready?
Sure.
You can't have your cake.
Lemonade out of lemon. Lemon.
That one I
out of lemonade.
get. Making lemons out of lemonade makes sense. You can't
Don't
have,
eat spinach with a stranger.
Sure. Or with Big E. I love the one. I always hated it. Is they can't have your cake and eat it too. And I finally figured that one out. But it was like, dude. What, why didn't you just say, if you eat your cake, then you don't have it anymore? That's why you can't eat your cake and have it too.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. So just say, dude, once you eat your cake, it doesn't exist anymore. You can't have it now.
That one confounded you for years, didn't it?
Finally figured it out. I was like, oh, I get it now. So yeah, so King was Jeremy Dissel said King was pronounced dead at 7:08. He's the second man to be executed for this, and third they say is due for parole in 2034. Well, I hope he gets out. That's what we need, is him out of jail. Bill King, his last hours, he was just waiting in a holding cell. He was really, fingers crossed, hoping that the state, the governor or whatever, would pardon him, since the Supreme Court said suck a dick, basically, to him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the guy that was voted in is a huge fan of the death penalty in Texas. So he could cross as many fingers as he wanted. And Greg Abbott, the governor there, was not interested in hearing it. So now, let's see. Before his execution, this is why I say I don't think he fucking learned much. Ricky Jason shared for the first time ever a letter that this guy wrote. He was doing a documentary on this story. It was called Byrd, the life and tragic death of James Byrd Jr. And so in the letter, he had a letter written to him from the guy that was executed yesterday.
Now I got you.
It was written to the filmmaker, Ricky Jason, and also addressed to Mr. Byrd's son, Ross. Do you and Ross really want to associate with an unrepentant racist like me? If not, speak now or forever bite your tongues, because there are no false pretenses about me. He goes on to write that he wasn't there at the time of the murder and offered zero remorse.
You're kidding.
Remorse. No. Nope. So, yeah, let's see. I want to read you about, because the part that's really going to interest you.
Give me the meal.
Yeah, it's the meal. So, let's see here. Brewer. What was his fucking first name? Hold on.
What do?
You need to know this. You're going to call back to this at some point in the future. Anyway, let's see. Where was it? I know there were three of them.
Why don't you level with me there?
As if you need to know if it's a John, a Bill, a Steve. Doesn't matter. His last name's Brewer. And so, he was executed at the age of 44. Brewer. His name's Brewer. Brewer. In 2011, at the age of 44.
I love that drop. And by the way, I use it regularly in social media all the time. Like when people tag me in something or do this or that, I just go, who? Question mark, and leave it.
If you want to pin it on something, pin it on that.
His name was Russ. Right here, Dad. Russell Brewer. Got it? Russell Brewer is his name. Russ Brewer, 44, when he was executed in 2011. Stay with me. Who?
You can literally use it technically anytime you want.
Yeah. So, okay. So he orders a last meal. And I was like, wow, I didn't think they did last meals in Texas. Now I know why. He orders a last meal of 2 chicken fried steaks with gravy and onions, a triple meat bacon cheeseburger, cheese omelet, half a loaf of white bread, large bowl of fried okra with ketchup, a pound of barbecue, 3 fajitas, a meat lover's pizza, a pint of Bluebell ice cream, and a slab of peanut butter fudge and 3 root beers.
Yeah, you got cocky, see?
No, when the massive feast was delivered to him, he went,
They gave him that?
yeah, oh, all of it.
Come
And he
on,
went,
man.
He went, I'm not hungry, and didn't take a single bite of any of it.
So they're done?
They were like, oh, you cocksucker. It's $1,000 on the state, this fucking meal. We should have known when he ordered a pound of barbecue.
What a dick.
And he was like, yeah, come to think of it, I'm not hungry. Never took a single bite. It's pretty dope. I mean,
That
think
is
about
not
it.
dope.
It is. Well, dude, he's got to take advantage of opportunities when they come along for him to, like, fuck with people.
Can you
He's in
imagine the
prison.
discipline, though, being presented with that feast?
I know, I
you're
was
about
like,
to
I'm not
die,
hungry,
too.
but I would have,
Yeah.
like, on the way out, grabbed a drumstick and a root beer and sauntered on.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
It's like, no, he's principled. He wants to show them. Wow.
2 chicken fried steaks with gravy and onions, triple meat bacon cheeseburger. His cholesterol is going to be through the roof.
That's really astounding.
If his last meal included some of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see any fruit, veggies, nothing. This is all terrible. It's going to block arteries.
It's probably like the worst spectacle, disaster at any event I can think of.
A cheese. Why did he stop there at the 3 root beers? Why didn't he just keep going?
I know.
I need a full bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, 18 Big Macs. Just like load that shit up. I mean, he did well. So yeah, so he told his guards he wasn't hungry and wouldn't eat any of it. His excessive order led the state to ban the practice of allowing condemned prisoners to choose their own final
All the other
meal.
guys on fucking death row, fuck you, asshole!
Oh, can you imagine? The best thing for him was to be executed, because it had those guys on death row. That's really all you have to look forward to. They probably planned for months. What are you going to get? I didn't even fucking think about
Right.
pudding. Yes, dude,
Now they're
pudding.
done.
Oh, tapioca, vanilla, chocolate,
Shit's getting way too complicated for me.
French fries. No, come on, give me French.
I'm trying to find it.
You ain't my bitch, nigga. Buy your own damn fries.
So, anyways, so they said he called a Houston radio station the day of his execution, and he told them, as far as any regrets, no, I have no regrets. No, I'd do it all over again, to tell you the truth.
He called them as in like from the payphone or this thing, or
I don't know if
last
he
call?
stopped whether they were doing the dead man's walk or what. But
Well, no, I'm just curious. Like, did
this,
they call
this
him up
isn't
as
the
an
guy
inter-
yesterday. This is the guy that was murdered or put down in 2011, the one that ordered the meal.
Yeah.
So the day before his execution, he told a Houston radio station that
I'm
I'd
just
do it
curious
all
if
over
they
again.
called him as an interview or if like that'd be-
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, some of those go through, some of them don't. You know, you can submit a request to talk to an inmate, but an inmate wants to. He can, in a lot of respects. He can't profit off of anything, but you know, he can't send you to a website to buy his
wow,
paintings and
no,
shit.
I don't regret it at all.
Nope. It sounds really bad because Jasper is the city in Texas this happened in, and for them, they said it was kind of a unique thing. There wasn't a lot of hate crime. There wasn't. It was about 8,000 residents in Jasper, and it was like 50-50 black and white. People got along, and you had, you know, you can imagine in the South, like Texas, there's neighboring cities where there are all kind of racial tensions, and they said this just blew the lid off of, you know, it took this kind of cool town and this one of the most grisly events in American history, to be honest with you, really kind of divided people.
See,
and-
he got what he wanted then. He
in
started
a
the race
way,
war.
yeah. Well, they had an African American mayor at the time, and like I said, 50% of the population was black.
Go Blacks!
So they've got a first black police chief, and then he's fired in a recall. I mean, dude, not the best time to be adding a little kindling to that fire. You know what I mean?
Well, what's it got to do with me?
Well, I'll tell you what it's got to do with you. This is a small town of Jasper, Texas, man.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not.
No.
So they kicked this guy out. The recall effort was marred by racial slurs. Come on, Jasper, we're better than this. And then city council members, 3 that the black police chief hired were black, and they were blown the fuck out too.
I like to help minorities.
So Bird's grave, as if, you know, has Mr. Bird been through enough at this point?
Seems like it.
His panus and balls ground down to the Ken doll level.
Cheese grater.
Cheese grater. Bird's grave in Jasper City Cemetery has twice been vandalized and is now protected by a fence and security.
Dude. Seriously, that is bogue as hell.
Yeah, they have to put a little fence or like it's Michael Brown's tree stump, you know, that people won't stop running over and chopping down. It's maybe the funniest
sapling?
story ever. It's the picture.
It's a stick.
It's a stick planted in the ground. People are like, God damn thing up here, and they just took a machete and cut the branches right off it.
Slap.
Fuck, someone ran it over with a truck. Oh, remember all the people that before they got the whatever you called it out to clean up the teddy bear mess? That was
Oh, the Bobcat?
the Bobcat. They needed to get a Bobcat and just do it. And it was like every night they would re-put it up. And some guy, God damn, teddy bear's up again.
Just blow right through it with
Blow
his truck.
through it.
Yeah.
Oh, just wipe it out.
Rain-soaked teddy bears, Spider-Man stapled to phone posts is just, yeah.
Dude, it's hilarious. I just
You
think
got
of
it there.
how,
He's just,
how
there's
concerned.
the sapling. The remembrance tree.
Yeah. I mean, someone, how pissed do you have to be to take it out on that tree? Look at that. Someone just lopped it clean. And that's a healthy looking tree that was growing there.
You know, that tree will come back, though. It'll regenerate itself. It's amazing.
Not if the citizens keep hacking it down. You know, blowing through the fucking teddy bear. I remember how concerned you were. Like, it's an infestation waiting to, you're going to have rats.
Dude, they're
you're going to have rats. in there.
absolutely just filthy. Do you have the, can you pull up the rain-soaked memorial, Isis?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some
There's
tire tracks
rodentia.
through 'em and
Rodentia
shit.
for sure were living in that. That was just, it was an absolute shit pile.
And the more I've reflected on this over the years, I'm not 100% convinced the community was thinking wholly of memorializing Michael Brown
damn it, man.
when they put some of these bears down. You know what I mean?
No.
So, I think they were just trying to unload some old
It's
shit.
a goddamn Tweety bird.
Yeah.
A Tweety bird. Now, what comes into your mind? Oh, man, I got to honor this poor fallen hero. I grab the Tweety Bird. Grab the Tweety Bird and head down to 8th and Main Street.
Yeah.
And leave it on the corner there.
Sure. And
What
they're
the
just driving-
fuck, man?
They did a nice job of keeping it together. It's not just like they chucked it out of a moving car and threw it onto the pile.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's used a snow shovel, though, and just kept, kind of piling it into
very
the center.
true. Nice having "fuck off" spray painted on the cement right in front of your Michael Brown tribute too.
Yeah.
You know.
See a
Anyways.
SpongeBob, I think.
Oh, there was
A
definitely
duck.
SpongeBob's. It's like the kid that got tossed off the fucking, the balcony at the Mall of America.
Yeah.
Some of the things there, like a basketball, and I was like, how long does that have to sit there before some kids can
Yeah.
get some use out of it?
Before it's like
you
community
remember-
property.
This
Oh,
is
that's
the-
right. Right
M&M.
into the middle of the street. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the actual incident, I guess.
Look at the deflated Mylar.
Oh, it's pathetic, Mylar. The
How is this honoring anyone?
Yeah.
Look at the M&M.
The
God
M&M.
damn-
What are you doing
God
there, M&M?
damn it.
Nice. Can we remove the fucking dying sunflowers too?
Yeah.
You know, is that an elf? Oh, that's not an elf doll. That would have been kind of dope. There's some sort of a rat on there. I don't think
see
it's
that.
the ones that you know of or you think are coming. Is that like a Teddy Graham? Looks like one of those bears that you give your loved one at
Probably.
Valentine's Day. Like, did
Yes.
someone unload
Most likely
the
is,
Teddy
yeah.
Graham they got from an old lover?
Yes. Go honor Michael Brown with this.
I'd never look at this shit again.
God,
And
man.
the greatest part of the story is the tiny detail that almost nobody picked up on in the Mike Brown thing. The one guy that captured the gunshots being fired, clearly doing computer porn.
Clearly.
Clearly, he's doing he's talking to someone. He's like, "Oh yeah, baby. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, right there."
I like to watch your videos.
I like to watch your videos.
That and came out of that story, and those are the two points right there, Mike. You identified them.
Do you have any? Do you have the?
You are pretty. You're so fine. Just going over some of your videos.
Videos.
How could I forget?
Hear the gunshots blazing away in the
You
background.
are pretty. You're
Goddamn
so fine.
firefight
Just
in the
going over
background.
some of your
It's
videos.
Fallujah in his
Yeah.
backyard. He's not even he's
No,
so locked
he's dialed in, man.
on
Blinders.
Pussy. I liked your videos. I watched a lot of your videos. You mean you jacked off to a lot of this woman's videos?
And remember that guy had a lawyer, a representative who took that public? He never showed his face in public, right?
That guy, I thought we did have video of him
Videos,
because he
no.
was doing like a video chat. Was that just audio?
It was
I could have
just
sworn
audio.
I thought it was a black dude in a white T-shirt at his computer.
I don't remember. I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember
You
that.
guys don't remember
I
that?
do remember a white lawyer, though, as his representative coming forth.
Yeah,
That was the time when everybody in town had a representative, right?
sure, including Mike Brown's best friend,
Dorian Johnson.
Dorian Johnson.
Oh,
God, I want to Where
Dorian.
Are They Now story on Dorian Johnson. Probably just a pillar of the community.
I'm sure. Hey, everybody, please use our affiliate links. You'll see our Amazon and Groupon links above the fold at DetroitCast.com. Click on them, shop away. It doesn't cost you anymore, but the key is that you're clicking through our links. Huge help to the show. Also, make sure you're shopping MyPillow.com for all of your betting-related needs. Use TDC code for the very best discount. Did you notice, Mike? I have a set of Giza Dream sheets here with me.
Yes, Giza.
Yes, Giza's. Guaranteed the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
Yep. I talked to Dawn yesterday from My Pillow, and I was like, "Man, all this shit showed up at the house and shit." She's like, I'm like, "I didn't email you anything."
Yeah, I did.
Did Jay? She goes, "It said it was from Mike and Jay." I'm like, "Oh, okay, then Jay did." I just wanted to make sure we're on our clown listeners.
Yeah.
As we've been.
Can you send the guys a bunch of pillows?
Yeah, they need a bunch of shit cut out of Mike as well.
No, we've got a stash of pillows. So if anybody wants to sign up as a member, you can do that. Annual memberships will render you free My Pillows.
Yeah.
So go to DetroitCast.com. You'll see members area tab over to the right and go through there. There's different levels of membership, but the annual ones will get you free My Pillows.
Yes.
So sign up now.
And Giza sheets.
The Gizas are the best.
Yeah. Hey, let's take a quick time out. And then, I don't know if you guys knew this, but apparently we have a cure for homosexuality.
Huh.
Yep.
Isn't there
academic.
counselors? Are there counselors who people would, yeah.
Well, they're trying, but it takes a village, Jay. So we've got a female educator, academic in Kuwait,
Oh, God.
who has figured out the cure for homosexuality. We'll give you the details next. You're going to love it.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. continues now, bitches. Here are Mike and Jay.
All right. Welcome back to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay. Big E, almost under the weather, Big E. Wish him well this weekend. He just needs rest.
I think he's turned a corner. He looks way better today than he did yesterday.
See, I think he looks awful.
Looks bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Little bright-eyed,
Well,
yeah.
it's like, dude, I feel like this is as boring as boring talk.
All right,
gets,
well, let's
but-
get off it.
No,
We don't
no,
need to talk about it.
Well, no, I didn't mean it like that. But if you're gonna bring it up, it goes through these cycles where, like, yesterday I felt garbage during the show, just garbage. Then I drove home and got gas, and I kind of felt like completely better almost. Went to bed.
Boy, this is boring.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that's
asked
right.
for it. Then I
No,
woke up.
no
Totally
one
right.
asked for an
No.
explanation of this at all.
Not. Wow.
We
You're right.
didn't. And so you felt great, and then you went, oh, I got homework. I got to do my history thing.
That's not-
Oh, I feel like shit again.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Well, I mean, that's the only explanation.
Yep,
I don't know where
you're
you're
right.
going.
That's
Thank
what
you.
happened.
Why don't you pull up the video I just sent you? I don't know if you saw this, Jay, but boy Jim Fox out in Colorado was like, hey, a little TDC promotion. Massey announcing his tour dates.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Go ahead, E.
Hey, YouTube. Mike Massey here. And today
Hello,
is
Noah
Bring
there.
Your Kid to Work Day. And so this is Noah Massey, my son. And he's here.
Kid.
He's here with me. Don't be shy. He's here with me at work. I work at home, so he's here with me at home. And I wanted to show him what I do sometimes, and which includes...
So it's 6 minutes long. We're not going to show you all of it, but he's prominently displaying a Detroit Cast with Mike and Jay
What
T-shirt.
a beautiful T-shirt, man.
Yeah, I know. It takes away from...
pops.
Like, the kid would have been the star, the cuteness factor of this, but that shirt almost takes away from Noah, doesn't it? Because it looks so damn good.
It
People are
does,
going to be forced to go, yeah, great, whatever with that Noah kid, but what's up with that shirt? Where do I get one? What is this?
Yeah.
Who are Mike and Jay?
Immediately binging the Detroit Cast with Mike and Jay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it pops. It's beautiful.
I'm really happy with that, the way that comes out on a T-shirt through the YouTube video.
It leapt. It
Oh.
leapt off the screen.
Jumps. Absolutely careens off the screen. It's just fantastic. Thank you, Mike, for that. And actually, he's going to be, we should probably mention, in August, he'll be, was it the 9th? Shit, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, August 9th. He'll be at the Arc in Ann Arbor. And so, yeah, if you want to go, that's a perfect venue type to see an acoustic guy like Massey. There's some seats left. And so if you haven't gotten them yet, go get them. Be there
That's right.
in August. Now, I know you guys are waiting with bated breath. I announced something incredible. The cure for homosexuality has been found by an academic in Kuwait, a female one at that.
Is this like holding them by the ankles off the edge of a building? This kind
Well,
of
that-
cure?
Okay, see, I know what you did there. It's like, what country was it? Sweden or one of those that found a cure for Down syndrome? It was like you
Abortion.
you just aborted all the kids with fucking Down syndrome.
Yeah.
That doesn't count as a cure.
Amazing. These headlines. Sweden has cured Down syndrome.
Yeah. So I don't
Come
think
on,
that would
man.
count. We cured homosexuality. We dropped all of them off buildings.
No. You just scare it out of them.
Yeah.
Are you denouncing your homosexuality?
Do you think, and I, maybe some of our fine homosexual audience can send us an email and let us know if there in fact was, if my lady here has actually found a cure for homosexuality, would people take that?
No, I'm sure.
You don't think so?
100% of, people.
Yeah, but if they go,
You're
it's
gonna-
more difficult life. I just want to blend in. I don't want to suck cocks, but if there's something I
You're
can
out
do,
of the closet homo, I bet 99% of them be like, no, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Screw you.
What
I'm
about
gonna
those
be cured."
closeted ones?
Maybe they would.
Yeah, the ones that
'Cause
can't show their
There's
face.
a reason you're closeted, right?
Yeah.
You're nervous about coming out.
We've seen this work in some cases, but it's really been divine intervention. We think of Andrew, who I ain't gay no more.
Oh, right.
I don't
Yeah.
need lipstick and purses and all that. I like women's.
Women's.
That was amazing to witness.
We
You know what I mean?
danced with him. It was a great celebration.
Dude, he was doing like the Peanuts dance and shit. People were dancing with him. So we know it's happened on occasion where people have been cured of homosexuality. But this woman, like I said, from Kuwait, her name is Miriam El Shohol, said she has found an absolute cure for homosexuality. She's speaking on Scope TV, which is based in Kuwait. She said her cure is based around therapeutic suppositories.
I was seriously.
You're just trying to take dicks out of butts. Why would you like the key is to put something else in the butt?
Well, is it like a Pavlovian response? Like you make it a really awful situation. You put spiked suppositories up your ass or something. Before you know it, I don't want anything up there.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it's inspired by Islamic prophecies and founded in science. So that's a good start. So again, Kuwaiti academic Dr. Miriam Al-Sohol invents anal suppositories that cure homosexuality.
I need more information, Mike.
Okay, she says, here's the thing. Gay people develop a sexual urge after being sexually attacked, and this persists. So that what happens is there's a worm in their buttocks that feeds off semen. And so the suppository apparently fixes that because it persists with this worm in their backside.
Then why are they sucking dick? Like, is the worms
well,
a worm
maybe
there?
maybe when you blast a load into some dude's buttocks, the worm gets fed the semen, and it needs more, and so it just makes you keep going. And I need more dicks in my butt to come. And
this
then,
has legs, Mike.
But the
Go
mouth.
on.
I know. She claims there are 4 genders. I didn't know that either. Did you know there were 4 genders?
Oh, I thought there was a whole spectrum of. I thought there was
There's like
an
100. What are you talking
infinite.
It's a fucking doctor. Hello.
Okay.
Academic, self-described academic. Hello. So she says there's male, female. We knew about those. Feminine gay man, and butch lesbian are the 4 genders that we have. So,
What about those hot lesbians? You know,
I don't
Those
think
aren't
that's a
real.
gender, dude. Those are fake. Yeah, those are.
They're paid actresses.
So what I did was to produce suppositories which are to be used by certain people at a certain time. She later shows other guests and hosts of the discussion panel samples of the suppositories pills that she has made. The Kuwaiti regime, by the way, criminalizes homosexuality under its debauchery law. So if they spy you butt fucking in your goddamn living room, debauchery, out you go. Maybe that's the sentence. They sentence you to suppositories from the good doctor. You know what else is a serious fucking crime over there? Cross-dressing. Very, very illegal. And, you know, that's a blurry line. You know, we've seen some guys, it's like...
Yeah, some of their clothing is kind of cross-dressing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Those
I
robes,
mean-
giant robes.
Well, not that, but I mean,
Oh, I was
like,
gonna say,
around
those are kind of
here,
dresses
you know,
to
you
me.
can see a guy and be like, dude, like, he shows up in school one day wearing his sister's jeans.
yeah, the
Like,
chic.
Yeah, the chic brand jeans.
These are female lenses, I've been told.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you deserve 40 years for that?
I hope not.
These goddamn guys wearing the capris and stuff. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What happens to them?
The knickers, is it? The Payne Stewart type knickers?
No, capris.
The guys.
Capris.
Capris, are those the ones that go just below the knee? Ish?
Mid calf, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a bad look. Yeah, 40 years probably. Seems about right. I wanted to do this story. I was out of my lane when I accused potentially, Jay, the woman that is suing Luke Walton.
Mm-hmm.
When I said, I don't know if I said that was a trans, if I said that used to be a dude, you wouldn't argue me. And
That
you
one
agreed.
picture, that one image. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bet against it. Is my point.
Yeah.
But all the other ones, it was just one picture.
Yeah.
She's definitely a good-looking chick.
I do too. Luke's attorney is saying, look, this bitch is full of shit. I'm paraphrasing. This bitch is full of shit. She's getting fuck all from us. We're
He's not
paying
doing
her
the just
dime.
look at her defense.
No, he's not doing that. But he's saying, fuck her, liar, opportunist. Like I said, paraphrasing. She's getting fuck from us. You know, basically in a nutshell is what he said. She held a little press conference, and she just filed. There's no, like, cops aren't coming after him, you know, but she just wants money. And so they're like, yeah, that was bullshit. It was a poorly staged attempt to portray the accuser as a viable spokesperson for an important movement. These claims are false, and Luke's innocence will be proven in court. Lawyers want to create a public circus to distract from their complete lack of evidence to support their outrageous claims.
And while he said that publicly, I guarantee you there is a call from him to her attorney going, all right, what are we talking about here?
What do you need? $50? We cool? Promises never to do it again? Yeah, so I read a few more details because we'd heard that he pinned her down on the bed, placed his hips and legs over her body.
Starts kissing her everywhere. It's just
I know.
She's gonna be so turned on when I
Yeah.
get to her. When I get to the ear nibble,
Yeah.
she's gonna love the ear nibble.
Forced kisses on her neck. Oh, don't make that sound. I fucking hate that sound. Ugh. Stop it.
So weird.
Face and titties. That, fine. Titties, I get. They're fun to kiss too. She screamed, but nobody heard her.
And she feels my tongue on her earlobe.
She's going to be into that. Stop it. You're turning people away right now. Even Gab is going, fuck, I'm never letting his tongue near me again. And then he groped her titties and groin. So he was just like, violently rubbing on her vagine, I guess. Sure. Before rubbing his erect penis against her leg. And I think that's overkill. I think he was just, it's there, and he's on top of her. She's getting a thigh full of cock, right?
Just moving about.
Yeah. And then he was like, hey, let her go, opened the door and said, good to see you. And then this other thing, I don't know about this one, he was making vulgar guttural sounds at her another time. He also made, at one point, told her, you're killing me in that dress. Can't even tell a girl she looks nice in a dress anymore? Shit. So Walton's attorney responded, not a victim. She's not a victim. Her claim is not credible. And I was thinking about it more, and I was like, God, why was I thinking she was trained? Do you have her book? Remember I mentioned her book?
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of her book there?
Here, shit. 1 second.
See, that is not even close to a training.
Well, I know, but
the transition.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it says anything, but it's just a little bit more gasoline out of this.
I thought we knew that yesterday, did we not?
Yeah, we did. We didn't have a picture of it to prove it. I threw that baseless allegation out there. I didn't fully know what the name of it was, but yeah, her on the cover, The Transition.
So what is the new fact in today's story about Kelly Tennant?
Well, I wanted to point that out to you, and then also, there's another picture out there of Luke Walton and his wife.
Uh-huh.
Do you see some sort of male pattern baldness going on with the wife?
Wow, let's take a look here. She's got a high forehead, Mike.
I mean, that's not even a forehead.
She's got a high forehead.
I mean, that's...
You want some bangs there, I think. You're going to want to dangle some bangs.
If I were to cover up just the top there, you would go, oh, look at that cancer patient.
That's a high forehead.
Because that goes... That's like... It's rounded off. Like, it's leveling off on the top of the head.
It's leveled out proper, Mike.
Yeah.
That is a high forehead.
And that is a bald head from, if you just cover that top, that's, whew. Anyway, I just wanted to show you those and then say that the lawyer said, we ain't paying shit.
Yeah. Before he called her a lawyer and offered $500,000.
Exactly.
Hey, everybody, the NBA and NHL playoffs are in full swing, so stop on by the Hamlin Pub to watch your favorite team on one of their numerous TVs and enjoy sports specials like the $7 medium hand-tossed pizzas, boneless wings, or the Nacho Supreme, of course. Get these specials at all 5 Hamlin Pubs locations, Clarkston, Chesterfield, Rochester, and the 2 in Shelby Township.
So for our always growing transgender audience, read a story out of Russia, very disturbing. This doctor takes this chick out, having a good old time, and the night ends with him just fucking choking her out to death, and then cutting her up in a bunch of tiny pieces, flushing some down the toilet, cooking some to get rid of the scent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
Turns out
these Russians, man, there's some grisly Russian shit going on.
He's Mikhail Tikhonov, 27 years old. So he's out with Nina Sergeyevskaya.
Okay.
He's 25. They go back to her place. Her place.
Hot.
They just get in. He's just fucking balls deep in this hot chick. And then he's like, wait a minute. Yeah, it's
I'm
a
not
dick
in
and
a
balls. Is that a dick and balls set? Or something went on there. She was like, yeah, I used to be a dude. And he went, oh, fucking immediately. Just fucking choke. And he's like, shit, now I got a dead girl on my hands. And so he immediately chokes her out. He stopped only when she had no more signs of life. He then decided he needed to get rid of it. He's a doctor. And so he took the corpse to the bathroom where he cut out her organs, chopped them into small pieces, flushed them. He then carved off the woman's flesh, which he put into the oven, roasting them to evaporate excess liquid. Obviously, you're going to want to do that. It's a soupy mess. He denied he was a cannibal, and told police, look, I flushed and cooked human meat down the toilet. He then put the head and limbs in a suitcase and took them to his flat. He sawed off the limbs and ribs and threw them into the garbage. And obviously, you don't want to have that hanging around. At this point, police walk in as he's like, boy, this doesn't look good.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So he's like, no. They found the site of the head still attached to the spine, which he covered in salt to get rid of the odor. Apparently that works. He had no time to get rid of these parts because he was caught. He now faces almost 20 years.
If that's someone who like believed, that girl was someone who believed in tarot card readings and stuff like that, like does that, how come like would that show up?
She needs her money back.
Would that
then.
show up in a, you know what I mean? Like if you're someone who, if she goes to those people all the time, I'm like,
they're not supposed to tell you bad shit.
People,
though.
are you sure?
Yeah, I think most of them won't tell you like really grisly things like. You're going to end up with just a spine connected to a head, cooked and flushed. So
I would just wonder if they would ever, if
I don't know if
everyone's
that
ever
card
gotten that
exists
as
anyways.
If everyone's ever got a reading like that, if someone has gone to a tarot card reading and someone said like, to be honest with you, it's gonna be rough. You're gonna die.
There was no tarot card mentioned in the story. He's solely brought up by you.
He's going off on his own.
It's my thought of
just
like
riffing. All right, go.
Well, no, it's like the thought of like when you find out like we all think you're gonna die and you just assume, oh, I'll die in the hospital.
Sure.
Surrounded
this
by
is how
loved
this
ones.
lady died in a toilet. Getting
flushed down.
And so it just struck me as a person, like as a do people that read fortunes, do they ever give this?
I don't
as a
think
fortune?
they would. I don't think that tarot card exists. Like they can see dark matter or in the readings, but I don't think like.
I recently read a book though where a guy's palm was read and the lady kind of jumped back.
Really?
Yeah.
Was his fortune line not
long
enough?
Yeah, he had a short line or a long. I don't know, but she knew. And
Yeah.
that was something that was traced throughout the book, and it kept coming back to this.
And it shocked her.
It did shock
Sounds like
her.
it. She was she taken aback?
She was taken aback.
Wow,
literally
that's rare.
Taken aback.
They've seen a lot.
I know.
A proper tarot card reader.
So I think I think maybe they know a little bit.
I don't know. Like it's just something. It's such a crazy thing when someone's life ends in these amazing situations that we describe, and it's like, holy fuck! Out of all the things you think
Say
you
the
might
same
die
thing about
from,
poor James Byrd Jr.
Hell
man.
yeah. I know.
Don't you think though? Like what he did was a bit much. I'll be honest.
Well, you sometimes take poetic license a little bit with these stories. So I want to be clear. Was he really balls deep before he realized this was a tranny?
Apparently, they got back to her flat and immediately started having sex. At which point he decided, wait a minute.
This isn't a
feel or
vagine.
look like a normal vagine.
This is a butthole.
And so I don't know where along the transitional road this individual was, where Nina was.
Right.
And did he overreact? Yeah. Okay.
We can all agree.
We can all agree of that. However, I can't help but say, and people don't like this, but I don't care. I don't want to take someone out that I think is a woman and then find out later. That's not fair.
Oh, that's a dick move, yeah.
Or a non-dick move.
Well, in this case, it was a dick move.
Yeah. I mean, I know people disagree with that. It's like California recently passed a law where you don't have to tell someone you have AIDS. It's like you can be AIDS'd up nice and proper and be like, it's none of your business, pal.
Yeah, that's...
It's like,
He's got AIDS.
How is that any different than fucking walking up to someone with AIDS blood and a needle and just stabbing them with it?
Yeah.
If the guy's like, I'm going raw, deep dick in your butthole, sir. It's like, well, I used to have to tell him I had the AIDSy. I was all AIDS'd up and stuff. Not now.
I think he should be ashamed of himself. I think he should go into the background.
Do people in the gay community or in the trans community think that that's a dick move too? Because I think that's a dick move. It's false advertising in a sense, right?
Yeah,
I think I'm banging like
it's totally dishonest.
Yeah. I mean, if you found out Gab was like, shit, I forgot to tell you when I was 5. I was thinking I was not really a boy. I didn't feel like a boy. So we did the only thing we could and had it all taken care of. By the time you met me, you wouldn't even know. Wouldn't you feel like, dude, I bought a fucking bill of goods. You can't fucking change it on me now.
Yeah.
I think it's only fair. Tell me how I'm wrong in that. Because I think that leads to fucking real problems down the road. Believe it or not, Jay, you might not believe this, but I am a firm believer. Some people are going to be not happy halfway through banging someone and find out, wait a minute, you used to be a dude?
It's deceitful, Mike.
It is. And I think there's a handful of people out there that are not going to take that news and be thrilled with it.
Yeah, no, I think it could be argued into a manslaughter conviction versus murder, right? Because you're like, dude, heat of the moment. I was just told I thought this was a chick.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I learned this. I'm banging a male's butthole.
Yeah. It doesn't
I've got
I'm doing everything I can. I'm eating it out.
A dick slapping back and hitting me in the taint.
Yeah.
Dude,
we were like, what are those? The pendulum balls.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like that's how it was. I got behind her, and it was like every time I thrust,
rhythm
it was
got
like,
going.
Bang, 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 bang. The balls. And I put 2 and 2 together about a half hour in. It's like, wait a minute, that's a ball sack. I can feel it. What are we doing for email, Jay?
We do have some email. Before we get to email, if you've suffered a traumatic accident or injury, don't call the Billboard or TV attorneys then, Mike. You need a proven, experienced legal advocate who supports your interests from beginning to end. Your first call should be to Ogden Legal Triage. With one call, Ogden Legal Triage will find you the right personal injury attorney at no cost to you. With more than 20 years' experience, Ogden takes the worry and the legwork out of your search. Go to firstcalldetroit.com and let Ogden Legal Triage save you time, money, and hassle. Besides, who better to help you find an attorney but an attorney? Ogden Legal Triage at firstcalldetroit.com.
He's good people, too.
He's a good boy.
Billy is a very good boy.
Kurt writes in concerning prisoner voting. Talked about this the other day. For some reason, Bernie Sanders is commenting on how he believes prisoners ought to be able to vote. I'm not sure exactly how that came up, but it did.
Terrorists.
It did, and then
and
then it became this question. Well, what about Sarnaroff or whatever?
Yeah, Dzhokhar Sarnav.
Yeah, the Boston bomber. Should he be able to vote? And Kamala Harris. Well, it's at least a conversation we ought to have.
Which, by the way, can you give a better take a fucking knee answer than I think it's a discussion we should have? No, what do you think, asshole? Don't get a
It's
vibe
a
for the
conversation
community.
we should have.
She said that like
looks
4
out in
times.
the audience, like kind of like gauging people's facial expressions. It's a conversation
we should have. Perhaps
Yeah.
he said it. Now I'm on
That
the
is a
spot.
huge punt. Great point.
Huge punt. I was like, bitch, you know what? You want to be fucking leader of the Democratic Party? Then no. Bernie's up for this. How do you feel?
Yeah.
You don't get to poll the audience.
No, I think we're getting to the point where people are going to have to start taking positions on things. And that,
Oh, no, already?
and that's sort of, I know.
Doesn't it seem way
Already?
early? Can we whittle that side down to like 3 before we start having to listen to any of their horse shit?
Right.
Or anyone on the right's horse shit, too?
So Kurt writes in concerning prisoner voting: burlap bag, chaz and drag, and half a fag.
Fat.
I don't know.
Clearly.
Take into
They
consideration
needed that, too.
Take into consideration, says Kurt, that prison populations are counted toward population in a district, and those districts tend to be rural and redneck Republican votes. And this is another subversive tactic used by the dark money weasels of the Republican Party if they are counted toward the constituency for more redistricting purposes. America has the most incarcerated people anywhere in the world, 2,298,000, according to Kurt, and change. So one in about 100 people are behind bars. That is not including parole, probation, in three-quarter or halfway
pretty.
houses.
Proud of those stats.
The Kochs and Mercers play a lot of shady games with their voices. I thought this was the Democrats who brought this up
Which part of it?
about wanting felons to vote.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
And-
Kurt's pointing out that most felons are in Republican districts.
Crazy. And isn't it really the policies of the liberals that started all this? I mean, Joe Biden, you know, the reason that so many fucking minorities are in jail are because of the policies that were written by the liberal side. Sorry, it is what it is. In the 80s and 90s.
I keep coming back to like, why is this even like? Why are people even talking? Who put this up as a thing?
Well, it's a hill to die on. We all choose our hills to die on. And if Joe Carr doesn't have his right to vote,
It's
I mean,
just
what are
funny,
we,
man.
Jay?
Like-
What are we?
I don't know.
It's absurd. And don't you love how it too? It's immediately billed as the right doing this or the left doing that. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, isn't there
the
enough
whole
to-
problem is just that the right and dark money. Fuck, you have the same thing on the other side.
Yeah, I
just
felt like
silly.
there was like a million other issues they could drop anvils on each other's heads over, like voting rights of felons. Okay.
Like what though? I mean, what's more important than that?
Yeah,
I mean, do you want to hear about boring ass infrastructure policies or? Saving
boring, dude. Talk about boring.
Saving money on preventing wars. I mean, dude, is Joe Carr going to be able to vote next election?
Yeah.
He's going to be dead soon. This might be the only chance he gets to vote.
Need to know this.
Yeah.
Brett writes in concerning a donation. Hey, great news. You see that, right? Donation. I love to see the subject
Hell
line
yeah.
donation,
Oh, no.
right? It's one of my
Did it
favorites.
say TDC
feel
in
like
front
this
or
is
back
going
of
the
that,
wrong
that donation promise?
No, it says it's not going to happen, essentially. It says, for the last few weeks, I've been meaning to email in and say that I will donate $1,000 if
Yeah.
Oh, it's always fucking with a butt.
Mike can go one full episode without doing that fucking Proops voice. Then he drops the announcement of the new YouTube page. Definitely not happening now. God damn it, Moselle!
Well, I guess I lost us $1,000 today. I don't think I did one till this point. Sorry about that, guys.
Can't please everybody, Brett.
I know. If you, Brett, you fucking ass, don't be jealous. If you have any
jealous?
idea the amount of fucking emails that I get about people loving the Peroops voice, sorry, pal.
Laura writes in concerning Eric texting and driving. Jesus.
Not going to talk about it. So
The chickens have come home to roost.
No, they haven't.
Shame.
Of course, this was a listener, I believe it was Nate, who wrote in the other day saying that he followed Isis. He followed a car that he was just...
I'm taking that sticker off my car, by the way.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
Don't you dare.
Fuck yeah, I am.
He was
put 10 more on
following a car
Take those
down
off.
one of the main thoroughfares of his community, and I believe that car in front of him retarded his ability
No
to
way to
move
prove
forward.
it, but
Well, he
There were
described
witnesses.
quite aptly
you
the
can make up
car.
all those facts easily without knowing me. By listening to this show. You can make up all those facts.
Why can't you just apologize for your aberrant behavior?
I will not.
It's abhorrent or aberrant.
Aberrant.
One of the two. Or
The fact is, your attitude gives you away. You'd be a
I don't-
terrible poker player. It's
I'm not
clear-
a poker player.
Look, the Dems have hills to die on. We figured that out. Joe Carr and
Voting
felons'
rights.
votings. Apparently, your hill to die on is standing firm that you are
haven't-
not changing and you
I
are
haven't
going to
stood
text
firm on
and drive.
anything.
I don't care.
I haven't stood firm
Jesus.
on anything.
You did say the other day that I'm not perfect, whatever. No, I'm
Yeah.
not going to try to get better, whatever. You did say that.
That's not what I said I'm not perfect, is what I said.
Well,
Texting and driving is dangerous, is it not,
it's-
Jay?
and as I aptly pointed out, I said, Isis, you're religious about not drinking and driving. You do a great job with that.
Yeah.
You're always telling us, no, dude, if I have like 2 beers, I'll take an Uber. That's excellent. That's
And
great.
studies show that texting while driving is way more dangerous than even drinking and driving. But hill to die on for Isis, so whatever.
Laura writes in. Unnerving how Biggie says I'm not perfect, as if that's an excuse for idiocy. Eric, none of us are perfect, but some of us learn from our mistakes and do better instead of wallowing.
I'd like to know the mistakes you learned from and have done better.
Again, you're changing the subject here. This is not
You
an
want
attack
Laura
on-
to write in with mistakes she's learned from? I'm
Yeah.
sure Laura would be willing to do it.
She's
Laura,
supposed to write in, I cheated on my husband. I feel
Yeah,
terrible
exactly.
about
Laura
it.
That's what I
M.
want.
Laura
Learned
M.
everything?
Please write in and tell us a mistake you've learned from.
Yeah,
so
you
that
killed a kid. You fucking...
apparently
I want them to be
Isis-
good ones, too.
Isis
Yeah, not
needs an
just, oh, I
example.
used to drink coffee and now I don't.
Well, that would be an example, though, of something she's not doing anymore that she used to do.
None of us are perfect, but some of us learn from our mistakes and do better instead of wallowing in our own sloth.
Uh-huh.
Try saying, I'm not perfect to the officer who stops you next time after you caused an accident. Have a good day, gents. Laura M.
Well,
disgruntled face. Is that a disgruntled face? Sort of dismayed? Dismayed face.
dismayed, perplexed,
Yeah. it's just-
dismayed, like, really? Really?
yeah. It's kind of a do better face.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, and I have to side with E on this. You know, as we know, everything happens for a reason. And so...
So if he kills your kid,
he
kills my kid, whoever's kid he kills, it happened for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. So E, you do you. Be proud of who you are.
It's a way of just floating along and doing what you do and not worrying about a thing.
Yep,
I didn't make E and I didn't make the rules up, man. We all
Everything
know
happens for a
everything happens for a reason, which means I have to take zero responsibility for any of my shit aberrant behavior.
Abhorrent. We'll save the rest for tomorrow.
Very good. No, we won't be here tomorrow.
That's right. We'll be here Sunday.
We will. Do we have anything going on Sunday? Is that one of the things on the? Is that a date?
We might, Rabbit. We might.
We might.
No, I don't think we have anything going on Sunday.
Fuck! I'm starving,
Yeah.
dude. I want Twin Peaks to come by and bring us all food and stuff. We'll do it for another day. You know what tonight is? E. I don't know if you guys care, Jay. I'm sure you don't. Is the draft?
It's an American sport. Not totally into it.
Yeah, I know.
No, I forgot that. Yeah, that gets going tonight. That's
Yeah.
always fun to see who your team picks, right?
Yeah.
First,
I
second
love
round,
it too.
third round.
Yeah, I know shit, but
Yeah,
it's still fun
it's
for
exciting.
whatever reason. E, will you be watching?
Hell no.
No?
I love player transactions. Like I'm always like, dude, they should trade Iserman and shit like that, right? Because I
Right.
love like big bang player transactions. That's one thing I really like about pro basketball is you have a small group of players and one guy can make a big difference.
Oh.
You know, you shuffle one or two out and it's like, holy shit, that changed
Yeah.
the whole team.
You literally can, and that's the only sport you can do that in.
Yeah.
You know, as a team sport, one guy can be huge.
I should say, by the way, the only reason I don't watch the draft, I just don't know anything. I don't care. I love the Lions.
How are you going to learn then?
You know what I'll learn? When I'm watching the Lions and when they fucking look like they're going to make a playoff run, that's when I've learned that whatever they've done is right. I don't care.
Fair weather,
don't know
I get
them.
it.
Yep. I guess
fine.
I am, man. With the Lions, fuck the Lions.
Yeah.
But I'll cheer for them if they win.
Yeah.
It's the definition.
Literally is the
I
definition.
know.
But that's okay. That's a
dude,
good
I didn't
consumer.
used to be, man.
That's
I
a
used to
smart
paint-
consumer
I used to
and use
paint
your
my
time.
fucking face, so don't. It's like whatever.
Dude, I
man.
know, and Jay has turned my opinion on this as well. If the product you were purchasing is not good enough, if you go to Burger King every day and they give
And there's
you
a pile of shit instead of a beef patty.
yeah, they give you a subpar Whopper, and I think a pile of shit instead of a beef patty would be grounds to
Qualify
level that.
as a
yeah.
subpar Whopper.
Yes, it would. And you're like, you know what? This is the 4th day in a row I've come here, and I've gotten shit in my burger.
Literal shit.
See, I don't like that.
At that point, it's like I will be a fair weather fan of the Whopper going forward. If it turns out to be delicious again 2 years down the road, I'm in. I'll paint my face again.
See, I don't like that analogy because I really don't think it's as apt as you or Jay think it is because there's a lot of emotions in sports. And I always say this about people to me or about with the Lions. The reality is if I don't watch them on Sundays, I don't get mad. If I watch them, I want to punch a wall.
Yeah.
So for me, it is not because I've gotten the bad Whopper and I've just realized
If I bite into a Whopper and there's a patty of shit, I get mad.
I would too.
I understand, but
Sounds
I just
like you
don't-
need anger management then,
But
E,
see,
more
but-
than anything.
only with sports. I guess I maybe do.
Yeah.
Like when
I
I was
think
at
you do.
When I was at the Piston game the other day, I haven't watched. I watched more Pistons than I have in years past, but certainly wasn't watching every game and whatnot.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, when I'm at the home game and it's a playoff game, I was up there sitting there fucking, come on, Drummond, make a fucking basket, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Calling him out for his lack of game.
but if I hadn't watched, I just would have been like, oh, fucking Pistons blew.
No,
What
but
a shock.
I fear that you're going towards that guy. What game was it when the kicker missed the Bears kicker and that guy was walking out? Fuck!
I was already there with the Lions. What do you mean?
Cocksucker!
Oh, yeah.
Fucking like
The Barstool guy.
yeah, guy was great. I think he could get there.
I was already there though. That's what like with the Lions. I was already there. We just didn't have social media.
No,
then.
you just threw a Lion's fucking fake
No,
helmet
dude.
down the
No,
street.
no,
And then
I
had to
wa-
circle back and go get it.
What do you mean?
You wore a Fire Millen shirt, but that's not
You're
the same as
saying-
fuck you.
But you're saying you don't think I was
cocksucker.
there yet, dude? I used to walk out of the stadium. When I say chuck the hat, it wasn't like I was just like whistling Dixie and I chucked a hat on the thing.
You were
I was
frustrated.
fucking yelling.
I know.
But so you're saying I wasn't there? I was there. I was already there.
No, I've never heard you yell "fuck you," you fucking
Okay, so you
cocksucker
haven't-
piece of shit.
Did you hear what I just said?
I think that's harsher to put on video for the world
We
to
didn't
see
have
than
video.
you taking your gay little fucking construction Lions
didn't-
hat off and throwing it down the street. By the way, and then having going, oh man, I want that hat, and going back to get it.
But I said we didn't have social media then. If I'd had the phone, if I'd Snapchat or something, I probably would have done it. What I said was I've already
Next
been
time
there.
you get there, film it. That's all I'm saying. I want you to get that level of rage and film it.
I don't
We'll
have it
judge
anymore
that.
with the Lions because I won't let them do it to me.
All right, we got to get out of here. He's taking
Do you
us
want to
long.
apologize for whistling Dixie? I think that
No.
shit's racist.
No, beyond racist.
No,
Beyond.
I'm good.
Great. Well, we can circle back. As you know, E, you always have. We give you the opportunity every episode to apologize for any of your racist beliefs or statements, and that still stands today. So we can circle back to that on Sunday if you remember, Jay. Have a great weekend. Go Lions, man. Let's hope they grab someone that we all go, wow, it's gonna be interesting to find out what this guy's all about, since we don't know shit. Have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.